Caroline Cherry
and Katie Bart present
Codename Verity
Extra Credit Project.
Lasting from 1939 to 1945, World War II stands as the most widespread and deadliest war in history. Beginning with Hitler's invasion of Poland and ending with the defeat of Germany and Japan by the Allies, the Second World War destroyed people and land, and it led to the Holocaust, where Jews were sent to concentration camps and eventually killed. Secret societies created resistant movements throughout Europe during the war to try to prevent Nazi invasion and save their country.
The Allies implemented the use of spies and code languages to increase the confidentiality of their actions and goals to defeat Germany. Resistance organizations sent spies to other countries to discover useful information pertaining to the destruction of the Nazis. And while some of these expeditions were successful, others ended unfortunately. Nazi officers captured many secret agents, interrogated and tortured them, and forced them to reveal their mission and every piece of information they knew about the resistance in the war effort.
Secret codes enabled easy communication between resistant efforts without disclosing any confidential information to their enemies, and they proved very useful throughout the war. Because of the destructive effects of the war, but also because of its uses of undercover spies and codes, World War II has become one of the most famous wars in history.
Codename Verity, a novel that utilizes metafiction, tells the story of two young girls and their efforts to help defeat the Nazis in World War II. Written by Elizabeth Wayne, this fictional novel still draws from actual historical events and operations. This novel accurately explains the involvement of women in the war workforce and the secret operations that occurred during this time. Two historical topics that connect to Wayne's novel include Bletchley Park and Churchill's Secret Auxiliary Army. Bletchley Park, a British Nazi code-breaking school located in Buckinghamshire, discovered how to decrypt secret messages from the Nazis concerning the war.
Run by the Government Code and Cipher School, Bletchley Park took on the art of deciphering encoded messages known as cryptanalysis, which gained a new importance during World War II, as British experts strived to reveal the true meaning of encrypted German military messages. As Britain's main decryption establishment during World War II, Bletchley Park decrypted ciphers and codes of several Axis countries, most importantly codes generated by the German Enigma and Lorenz machines. By decrypting the Enigma cipher, the Allies could read important parts of the German military plans and could use this priceless information throughout the war.
The German Enigma resembled a large typewriter with lights and could, letter by letter, turn a message into incomprehensible nonsense that could be decoded only by using another Enigma machine. It was the most complicated encoding machine the world had seen, so the Germans never suspected that the Allies could have decoded their messages. Winston Churchill called Bletchley Park his goose that laid the golden egg and never cackled. The golden egg was the ability to decode the secrets of the German war machine. Also known as Station X, Bletchley Park could read coded messages from German generals on the battlefield before Hitler viewed them in Berlin.
This represented a huge advantage for the Allies, who could now always be one step ahead of the scheming Hitler. In addition, the Bletchley Park code-breaking operation included nearly 10,000 people, with 75% of this number being women. This shows how this war represented the beginning of allowing women to contribute to the war effort and defy historical stereotypes. These women had extreme intelligence and contributed to the war in major ways. At the end of the war, Churchill ordered a huge bonfire to destroy all records of Bletchley Park.
However, one former employee wrote a book in 1974 about his work there, allowing people into the secret place that helped defeat the Nazis during this terribly war-stricken time. In her novel, Wayne connects Bletchley Park and decrypting codes through the character of Queenie. As an SOE officer, Queenie works to interrogate captured prisoners and decrypt codes. In addition, she would know how to use codes and communicate with others through codes.
For example, while being interviewed by Georgia Penn, Georgia explains that she is searching for Verity. While this seems like she is trying to explain that she wants the truth, and only the truth, she is actually speaking in code. Queenie replies with, "Verity, I am the soul of Verity. By saying this, Georgia Penn can identify her through her code name of Verity. Queenie represents a vital part to the war effort because she can speak in code, which shown through Bletchley Park stood as a major part of the war. In addition, those who worked in Bletchley Park could not share the secrets they encountered at work on a daily basis with anyone. Those decrypting codes could not share the secret information even with their
Similarly,
families.
Elizabeth Wayne displays the amount of secrecy that occurred during the war through a conversation between the narrator and her mother. Her mother says, "When this dreadful war is over, I want to know every last detail." The narrator responds with absolutely every last detail of my work falls under the Official Secrets Act, and I will be thrown into prison for the rest of my life if I ever tell you anything of it. This displays how people during the war were very dedicated to their work and their country, and knew that they could never share the secrets they discovered.
In addition, codename Verity causes people to look through the feminist lens while drawing from actual facts from the time period. Bletchley Park consisted of 10,000 people, with 75% being female. Wayne draws attention to women's new roles in society and war by telling the story through two females. While many people at this time only imagined women caring for children and cleaning their houses, women contributed to the war effort in major ways and helped discover some of Hitler's most important plans. Wayne makes sure to show how women began to do the same jobs as men, such as flying planes or spying on dangerous enemies in foreign lands.
However, people often did not believe women could accomplish the same feats as men. For example, Wayne writes, "The ground crew was aghast at the idea of a girl flying the broken Lysander." She goes on to write that one of the male crew members says, "She won't be strong enough." Even though women began to have more of a role in the war, they still had to defy previous stereotypes and show those around them that they could do the jobs of men. Just like Bletchley Park showed that women could have very positive impacts on the war, Elizabeth Wayne highlights women's abilities and refutes a patriarchal society by showing the success and ability of women.
In addition to the British Nazi code-breaking school, connections between Churchill's secret auxiliary army and codename Verity are prevalent throughout the novel. Created by Winston Churchill in England during World War II, this secret army acted as a key figure to the British resistance movement. This army secretly trained thousands of men at the Coleshill House, a huge mansion, and it essentially acted as a secret resistance. Little is known about these forces because its leaders kept it so well hidden, but the basic goals and ideas of Churchill's organization are known.
The units consisted of a volunteer force, trained secretly in preparation for a German invasion of England. In a time of warfare and complete Nazi dominance over Europe, these men were prepared and ready to defend their country from Nazi invasions, and they operated in a network of underground cells and bases all over the United Kingdom. Although the resistance did not attract much attention from the British government or people, its network of about 500 auxiliary units expanded across the country through a large system.
Units had secret underground bunkers that provided storage, shelter, and contained weapons to fight possible invasions, and they received uniforms to wear during battles. Churchill created a handbook for his troops called the Home Guard that contained crucial information about defeating and destroying the Nazis. Although this book played an extremely important role in the auxiliary army, its name seems very plain and boring to cover the organization's secret activities, plans, and ideas. Churchill's units were divided into groups called patrols.
Each patrol had control over a certain district and was comprised of around 6 men who were trained to react and fight if an invasion occurred. In order to keep the secret units hidden, 3 battalions, or large troops ready for battle, were created. Because of the group's secrecy, the names of the people who worked in these units are unknown and are likely to remain unknown. The secret auxiliary army worked tirelessly to keep Britain safe from the Nazis, but when the threat of invasion ended in 1944, the auxiliary units were ended. Despite the organization's positive contributions, the British government failed to recognize its existence until recently.
In codename Verity, the narrator, Julie, acts as a spy for Britain during World War II. She becomes a prisoner to the Nazis because her secret mission in France ended in catastrophe. Similarly to Churchill's auxiliary army, Julie's mission is so top secret that barely anyone knows her goals. Even during her imprisonment, Julie continues her mission by refusing to reveal important information and writing down irrelevant material that resembles a confession. The auxiliary army, like Julie, kept its actions and motives secret and determined to fulfill its duties even if faced with hardships. The idea of secrecy and devotion to defending Britain is prevalent in both the secret units and the novel. For example, Julie repeats the phrase, "careless talk costs lives," throughout the novel to emphasize the importance of keeping missions a secret. Both Julie and Churchill's auxiliary army focus on and work with confidential information and plans that act as a matter of life or death in some situations. By stating this, Julie proves how devoted she is to the United Kingdom and how revealing secret information can have terrible consequences.
Her actions resemble those of the secret army units during World War II because she refuses to reveal crucial facts, even if it results in her death. Although the auxiliary army had a huge network of connections across Britain, similarly to Julie's huge spy network. Originally working as a special operations executive for the British war effort, Julie has numerous people helping her and giving her connections to people throughout the country.
Julie, also known as Verity, is very important to the mission pertaining to the destruction of German activity. Almost all plans surround Verity and her ability to reach her contacts. For example, Wayne writes, "The operation is go ahead as planned. They've got the equipment, they've got Verity, and the contacts are all in place. Despite Verity's gender, these missions would be unsuccessful without her help. Even when she transitioned from translating codes to a job as a spy, her connections to her home country still remain strong, and she remembers her coworkers and friends back home, even when the Nazis capture her. The secret connections of Churchill's units and Julie's missions serve the same purpose to prevent secrets from being revealed while staying safe and effective."
Codename Verity, written by Elizabeth Wayne, contains secrecy, confidential codes, and undercover resistance efforts. These themes are also clearly displayed in many historical situations from World War II, but especially in the British Nazi code-breaking school in Bletchley Park and Churchill's secret auxiliary army. In the novel, Queenie acts as a translator and reads codes to her coworkers, which is similar to how machines translated illegible codes into lucid statements and how people broke codes to assist resistance movements.
Additionally, the majority of workers at Bletchley Park were women, and the two main characters in Wayne's novel are female and act strong and courageous. Both refute a sense of patriarchy and defy the standard that men are superior to women. Like the code-breaking school, Churchill's secret units consisted of a network of undercover troops that prepared to fight the Nazis if invaded.
Like Julie in Codename Verity, these confidential units refuse to inform anyone outside of their organization about the resistance, and both demonstrate perseverance when interrogated or brought up against the Nazis. Clearly, the British Nazi code-breaking school and Churchill's secret auxiliary army connect to Codename Verity, and may both influence the novel in powerful ways.
This fictional novel illustrates how historically accurate events can be used to improve the truth found in a novel. Mixing facts with fiction creates a whole new layer of meaning. Wayne's use of metafiction in writing the story around World War II makes Codename Verity in some ways more true than informational texts. These historical war organizations greatly impact the novel and positively change the reader's experiences and outlooks on life.